All right, I'm going to be making 4 substrate bags here. We're down to like 2 a week that we're using, and ideally that number is higher, but that's just what we're doing right now. I do have another guy coming in that we are potentially going to unload this on, and that he can run it, and that's kind of the plan, because I just don't have time for this with all 4 walls. That I just don't want this to die, so I found a guy, and he should be taking over. So what I'm doing with him is, again, money isn't real, is I'm going to offer him 20% of the company for sweat equity. I'm about 10 or 15,000 into this company, so I'm offering him 20% of that. So again, money isn't real, and that's how I'm getting kind of free labor in a way. So we're going to be making some substrate here. We're going to tear our container. I have my little cheat sheet up here. So we're going to do 2 to 2 1/4 pound of oak. Kind of put it in the middle. I like to just kind of do it in the middle. So that's 215. This is known as the master mix. Some guy on YouTube made it, and I think it's pretty good. We have used this ever since we started this master mix, and we get phenomenal flushes. We mainly grow lion's mane right now, and I will first flush one. I'll get 3 pounds of lion's mane, 3 to 3.5 pounds of lion's mane for the first flush. I currently don't do multiple flushes. I just don't think it's really. I just don't bother. You know, think whatever you want with that. I may end up doing some more bags than this, maybe like 6. Let's go ahead and do more. I just didn't know how much of this I had left. I just get this at the like a feed store. I normally have pallets here, so we have a pallet of soy hull, and that empty pallet I normally have of the oak here. I just ran out, and I hadn't bought more yet. It's like $1,000 a pallet. So I was just kind of waiting to see if I want to keep doing this. So I think we'll have enough for 6. So the master's mix is half oak, and then half soybean hull. So now we're going to do the same 2 to 2.25 of soybean hull. Each of these bags cost about $2.50 to make. So the bag itself is like 50 cents, and then the material in it is about $2. And for lion's mane, we'll get 3 pounds of lion's mane. We sell lion's mane for $25 a pound. So each bag, if sold, will produce $75 worth of revenue. So we're about $2.50 a bag. you got to figure electricity costs to cook it, and then to store it in the fridge. So I don't know what that math is off the top of my head, but $2.50 a bag produces $75. If you notice, this area isn't really that clean. It just doesn't matter at this stage, because if any contaminant gets in it, we're going to cook it. We're going to put this in the autoclave. We've also had built a atmospheric pressure cooker, so a real large one that I could spit in this and it wouldn't matter because I'm going to run it through a cleaner and it cooks everything, so then kills everything off. So then at that stage, once things are clean and we're in the lab, then things need to be super duper clean or we would have contaminant. And with just like a plant, if you have contaminant, it won't grow. So if there's something bad in here, you just won't ever get a mushroom. So now that this is done here, so that's all the soy, or the two mixes. I don't even bother mixing it up. It's just a waste of effort. So I've put together water here already. So I'm zeroed out with the water. So now we're going to get water. Now water, I have to do this twice per bag because it's just not big enough. So I do about 3.1-ish, 3.2-ish per, and that gives me about 6.5 pounds per bag. I'm trying to have lines here to kind of get me in the ballpark of it, and then I can add or lessen if needed. Now hang out with that bag, watch it, it's going to absorb that water and it won't be so watery. So I'll do that with the rest of them. A lot of people overthink mushrooms and they're just, they're not that hard. Just don't ever think too much of it. I'm going to set this bag over here. See, look at that. All like the water's gone. So we still have quite a bit in there, but it'll keep absorbing it. They make like a really cool chute thing that does this all at once, and one day maybe. I like to measure things out. I do such low volume that I have the time and freedom to measure everything out here. If I were doing this full scale, I might just go off the measurement or something. I just have the time. This is real time. I don't know how long we're at right now, but this hasn't taken me very long. Alright, so that's it with my scale. Next we're going to fold them. I like to wait until all the moisture is gone. See, we have a lot of water there. And like this one, we don't have that. So at this point I'm going to fold it. If I were to fold this one, it might expand the bag and misshape it or blow it out or something. But I like to fold the gussets in like this. Make sure you guys can see. Then I'm going to walk it down. The reason I fold this real nice now, because when I do my sealer, I want this top part to be really nice when I do my heat sealer on there. So up there is the most important, I think. And then moving down here, really all of this, if it's all wrinkly, doesn't quite necessarily matter, I don't think. It's just nice to have it pretty. So I'm going to fold it over and then use its own weight to hold itself. I like to pick it up, shake it, do some of these if I need to. So I'm going to grab the gussets. And I just kind of walk it down. I've done so many of these, I get pretty good at it. Just kind of walk it down, get the air out. I like to get the pinkies in there. Fold it over nice. And then just, that one's still a little wet, but the moisture will take over. So again, this is just my struggle with owning a business, starting a business. You know, if nobody tells you what to do, it's hard to, you know, I don't know. It's easy when somebody tells you, you know, what to do, but with stuff like this, like I had to make up my own standards, make up my own way of doing it. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck on a business, is they don't have somebody making up all these standards. And once you make a standard, you have to stick with it. And that kind of safeguards yourself, so you're following the standard, not necessarily yourself. So I'm going to run these through the autoclave. We have an American 75. We have a huge, if you watch some of the other videos, a huge atmospheric pressure cooker that will fit 56 of these in it. I just don't want to fire that up for 6 of these. We had that built initially because we thought we were going to be doing a lot of this. So I'll just run these 2 at a time through the autoclave, and it's just easier to use that. So I'll show you here in just a sec how to load that. Look at that, that's 6 of them. And how long did that take? So autoclave. So I like to make sure the water is full. Add a little bit to that. With the autoclave, this little notch here, I don't know what you guys can see. That's the front of it, and then that notch you want off to the side like this, and that'll make sense in just a minute. You're going to load your material. We want to keep those flaps down. I'm just going to do 2 of these bags at a time. I don't know if I can fit more. Let's see. If I could fit more, that's fine. Maybe I can fit 3 here. I don't use this much for substrate. I use the autoclave for my grain, because grain has to be perfectly sterile. Substrate can be ever so slightly not sterile and still be okay. So if it fits, it fits. So next we're going to put this down in that channel. And I'm on the back side here, so it's a little harder for me. turn that in. And we fold these up. I don't have this plugged in yet, it doesn't matter, but what we're going to do is screw it down so the openness is even. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be, you know, better than terrible. All right, so what we're all even, so I'm gonna kind of go like across here and just tighten. Just hand tight like that is plenty good. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna show you guys this part, it's boring. We'll turn it on. It'll probably take 45 minutes to an hour to actually come to temperature. This is open, that's closed. Once we're about 9 psi, I'm gonna bleed it for like 5 minutes and it'll then it's going to come up and then we'll put it at like 15 psi. I'll bleed it again for 15 minutes. And that's basically burping this thing. What's going to happen is if we don't do that, we might get an air bubble in here that actually doesn't come to pressure. So the autoclave uses temperature and pressure to kill everything. So we want to have both. We're going to get the temperature, but if we don't burp it, we might have an air bubble that doesn't get to the same pressure here. And so that's why we burp it. And then from there, we're going to, I guess, inoculate them. That'll be a different video. But again, this is just, right? I figured all this out myself. We got this on Facebook. I didn't get it new. We had our big thing built for us. That was like $1,500. This, I think, was $1,000 or something like that. But we're just plowing through, trying to make some money on this. You know, we get maybe $100 a week in sales on this, and what I just did in here is like 2 weeks worth of substrate. So we did 6 bags, so that's 5, 10, whatever that math is, 15 bucks that I just spent on substrate, and potentially that'll produce us, you know, 2 weeks of pay. So I mean, we throw mushrooms away, so maybe that's $200 to $300 is what I just made here, and it cost me $10 or so. So again, I mean, this is pretty interesting, right? Like, follow, comment about any thoughts you have. We're just trying to run a business here, and this is just my failures and successes along the way, so I appreciate you guys.